let's just jump right in. This title, Wanna Be Rich? Don't Save Your Money, it probably goes against every single thing you've ever been taught about money, right? It sounds totally backward. But what if the advice we've all been following isn't just a little outdated? What if it's actually a system designed to keep us from ever building real wealth?
And this quote just gets right to the heart of it. The whole idea that you can just pinch pennies your way to becoming a millionaire, well, for most of us, that's a complete myth. Today, we're going to talk about how to actually break out of that thinking.
Welcome to what the source material calls the money-saving trap. See, it's a system where diligently saving your money gives you this illusion of making progress, while behind the scenes, the real value of that money is just draining away. It's a cycle built to keep you working for decades. Let's talk about how to speed things up. All right, section 1, the money-saving trap. Now, to really get why this is a trap, we have to start with a super basic question. I mean, what even is the money we're trying so hard to save? No, I'm serious. Think about it for a second. What is this paper, this number on a screen, that we spend our whole lives chasing? Turns out it's not what it used to be. And the fact that most of us were never taught how money really works, well, that's a huge part of the trap itself.
So check this out. We used to be on what was called the gold standard. Every dollar you had was basically just a receipt, a claim ticket for a real physical piece of gold sitting in a vault somewhere. It had actual, tangible value. But since the 1930s in the US, we've used something called fiat money. And this is a total game changer because its value isn't tied to anything physical at all. It's based purely on the government's promise that it's worth something.
And that right there is the key. Because our money isn't backed by a limited resource like gold, the government can create more of it, literally whenever it wants. It's almost like monopoly money, you know? Its value only comes from the fact that all the players agree to accept it. So if the government can just print more money out of thin air, what does that mean for the cash you've got stored safely in your bank account? Well, that brings us right to section 2, why your money is quietly disappearing. The culprit has a name we all know, but maybe don't always feel day to day. Inflation. It's the silent thief. It's what makes your money buy less and less over time. The dollar you save today will not buy a dollar's worth of stuff next year. Its purchasing power is constantly getting eaten away. And here's what that actually looks like. I mean, think back. There was a time when a few bucks could get you into a movie. No problem. Today, that same amount might not even get you the slushie. That is inflation right there in your face. Your purchasing power is literally vanishing. To put a hard number on it, the source material points to an official inflation rate of 3.67%. Now, a lot of people argue the real number, the one you actually feel at the grocery store, is way higher, but let's just stick with the official one for a second. That means if your money is just sitting there, it is losing over 3.5% of its value every single year. So what's causing all this? Well, the source breaks it down into 3 main things. First, you've got demand pull. That's when there are way too many dollars chasing way too few goods. Remember the crazy used car market a while back? That's a perfect example. Then there's cost push. That's when it costs more to make things, so prices go up. And finally, the big one we've been talking about, increased money supply. The more dollars that get printed, the less each individual dollar is worth. Okay. So if saving is a trap, the answer must be to just spend everything, right? Go nuts? Well, not so fast. That's just the other side of the same broken coin. And it's definitely not the path to wealth either. Which brings us to section 3. This is where we get to a choice, just like in the Matrix. You can take the blue pill, stick with what you've always heard, just save or just spend, or you can take the red pill with us and see how deep this rabbit hole really goes. And I've got a feeling you're here for the red pill. And here it is. This is the big secret, the crucial mindset shift. It's not about saving or spending. It's about seeing money for what it really is, a tool. It's a tool that's meant to be put to work, to go out there and build something bigger for you. So, we've identified the trap. Now for the fun part. How do we beat the system? Section 4 is all about how to make your money finally start working for you, instead of it silently working against you. This chart says it all, doesn't it? The little bar on the left, that's the interest you get in a typical savings account. Less than 1%. That gets absolutely demolished by that 3.67% inflation we just talked about. But the bar on the right, that's the historical average return from the stock market. The difference is just night and day. This is how you fight back. And you know what the best part is? You don't have to be some Wall Street genius to do this. The source highlights one of the simplest and most effective paths: investing in a low-cost index fund. Just think of it like this. You're buying one thing that holds tiny little pieces of the 500 biggest companies. So instead of betting on one horse, you're betting on the entire race. You just buy in and let it grow over the long term. Which brings us to our final and maybe the most critical section of all. After learning all of this, what's the single biggest mistake you could possibly make? It's simple: doing nothing. It all comes down to this one powerful idea: opportunity cost. See, it's not just the 3 or 4% you lose to inflation every year by keeping your money in cash. It's the 8 or 10% you could have been gaining by putting that money to work instead. That's the real cost of sitting on the sidelines. And here's a perfect real-world example from the source. Back in 2021, a lot of people thought Tesla stock was too expensive, so they decided to wait for the price to drop. Well, in just 2 months, that stock shot up 35%. The cost of waiting wasn't zero, it was a missed 35% gain. Ouch. And that really leads to this core idea. We're all taught that investing is risky. But let me ask you this: when your safe option, cash, is guaranteed to lose value every single year, what does risk even mean anymore? In this system, maybe the biggest risk of all is taking no risk at all. So we'll end with this question. We've established that your money is just a tool. It was never meant to sit in a toolbox, slowly rusting away from inflation. It's meant to be used, to go out and build things. So the choice is really yours. Are you going to let your tools sit on the sidelines? Or are you going to put it in the game and let it go out and play?